Fox News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Welcome into Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. And first off, we are tracking a line of rain and storms that has prompted a tornado watch that we're seeing back into parts of Mississippi. That's an area you checked in with Matt, Mickey, Lauren, Tania earlier today. We've all been talking about this risk of maybe a strong storm tonight, but how that risk is really lacking some of the ingredients. The instability is not quite there during the overnight, so that should work in our favor. It's certainly a setup that's not quite at that level like what we saw the past couple of weeks. I know we've had some noteworthy events here. It's been an active 2023 so far. Let's get into what we're seeing at the moment. And the Storm Prediction Center, they have trimmed away. When you look at this severe weather outlook, the risk is now marginal for those areas back to the north and west. That does include parts of Marion, Lamar, Fayette, and Pickens County. The rest of our area, well, we're out of the severe weather risk overnight. It's going to be breezy. Gusts could top 20-25 miles per hour in a lot of areas, so that's one thing overnight. It's going to be a system that you're probably going to know it when it moves through. Could hear a few loud rumbles of thunder, some heavier rain really picking up on the rooftop, and some gusty winds. A lot of this comes in after midnight tonight while we're sleeping, so I wouldn't go to bed without having a way to get alerts, especially here in Alabama this time of year with kind of pattern that we're in. Make sure you have the weather app on your mobile device just in case, and have your mobile device off silent mode just in case we do have some of those tones, some of those alerts during the overnight. Most of this, again, after 11 o'clock, and you can see through 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. But if we did get a severe storm, greatest chance of that happening would be maybe a strong storm sneaking into northwestern areas. But with all the active weather that we have around here, this is certainly on down the scale. This is a very, very minimal threat that we're looking at across Alabama. There is a tornado watch back to the west, and one thing we were looking at with this throughout the week is a lot of the data really never has shown a lot of instability for us, but there is some wind energy in the atmosphere, and in January, February, these cool season setups, sometimes that wind energy can overcome the lack of instability. But even there, looks like with respect to conditions aloft, a lot of different things happening here, not quite meeting the level to where we have a organized risk. You can see even the storms right now and the rain, it's just really a band of rain, some embedded areas of heavy rain. The lightning, I noticed the lightning count had really dropped off with this back to the west. So even though there is a tornado watch, you can see this so far, at least right now, is behaving for those areas back off to the west. AccuTrack radar at the moment, we're seeing a couple of showers showing up. There's one moving north across Bibb County and into Jefferson County. Very tiny shower. See that? Nothing too extreme at the moment. I know the forecast data was showing a few scattered showers. If you're out and about tonight between now and 9 o'clock, not a lot of rain. I certainly grab the umbrella just in case there is a brief shower, but the heavier stuff is going to move in later tonight. The Weather Service placed some of our counties under a wind advisory. I think everybody's going to have some gusty winds tonight, but where we could see some of those rogue wind gusts and possibly 30 to 40 miles per hour, mainly north of I-20 in the northern third of the state, pretty much. You can see from Jasper over into Fayette and perhaps into Marion County there as well as that line moves in. Time-wise, here's what we're looking at. You can see 11 o'clock to 4 a.m. and then it looks like by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're mostly going to have this out of here. The way this is moving, looks like 3 a.m. to 8 o'clock in the morning, this will be out of the area. So very marginal severe weather risk to the northwest. We've got the rain and storms there that will be impacting those areas for the overnight hours from west to east, and that wind advisory for gusts over 30 miles per hour, especially for locations north of I-20. So that's what we're tracking right now. We got some more rain that's going to move in over the weekend. We'll show you that coming up in the First Alert 7-day forecast. Also, coming up right here on First Alert Weather Extra, we're going to show you where an avalanche happened. Snow in Denver, a lot of unsettled weather back to the west, that aftermath of the California storms. And, aftermath of those storms, things kind of settling down there, which may have an impact on how the pattern evolves here across our region. We'll talk about that and better predictions on solar flares. We'll talk some space weather as we continue right here on First Alert Weather Extra.
Every storm has a story, where it came from, where it's going, and the lives impacted in between. Where our story begins is with your first alert, warning you well ahead of time so the chapter in between isn't filled with surprises. The largest team on your side, dedicated to telling the story that starts and ends with you. This is why we First Alert.
First alert, we are tracking
In times like this,
we now have a tornado warning that's active.
having a way to see and hear what's happening on your phone,
The most intense part of this storm right now is tracking towards Shelby County.
that means everything.
Okay, you need to get in your safe place now. Stay there. We will let you know when this warning expires. Stay with us.
Download the First Alert weather app today. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert weather team. Mornings, they're yours. Where you start fresh, get your body moving, and tackle a new day. Our mornings are for you. Janice, Mike, Mickey, and Toy, starting early and staying with you all morning long. With more voices speaking to you where you are, and getting to the point with more First Alert weather and traffic from the source you trust. Always on your side. This is Good Day, Alabama.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. You can see behind me here, we are looking at lots of snow. I know a lot of the snow fans are wondering, okay, what's the deal? We're now back to warm weather. We're talking about rain and storms tonight, but we still do have some very cold weather that's impacting parts of the country. Meteorologist Tania Michelle standing by here. And Tania, you've been taking a closer look at some, not just snow totals. I mean, we're talking whopping snow totals, right?
Yes. I mean, if Colorado has to literally close their roads, their schools, their businesses, you know it's a lot of snow, right?
Right.
Because they handle snow pretty well, especially better than we probably will here in central Alabama. So we want to take you across the U.S., mainly to give you insight on what weather is like right now for other states. And of course, here we have storms and lots of unsettled weather, but believe it or not, some places are actually having a winter season and still battling the snow. We tapped into CNN News Source to give you a look at Denver, Colorado. Yes, that's where First Alert meteorologist Lauren Linehan just got back from when she visited the AMS conference just last week. And now they're getting even more snow there. I mean, what she showed us was a little bit of flurries, and it looks like they had to even close down their locations there. I mean, take a look at this video on your screen right now. This is Denver's biggest January snowstorm in more than 30 years. It forces airlines at Denver International Airport to actually cancel hundreds of their flights today. Winter storm warnings were in effect all day across the entire Denver area, where up to 18 inches of snow is expected by the end of today. CNN News Source found that FlightAware says more than 260 Denver flights were canceled by midday, and hundreds of businesses, schools, and offices across Colorado were closed or had delay openings today due to the snow. Many traffic slowdowns and accidents occurred this morning. I can't imagine what things would have been like if that were here and we were getting that much snow right now. The snowstorm is, however, expected to taper off in Colorado by about 10 p.m. tonight. And now we're going to take a quick trip over to Alaska, where the snow is also and has also caused major issues. CNN News Source tells us that an Alaska railroad says an avalanche of snow and ice derailed a freight train about 40 miles south of Anchorage Tuesday. They say 2 locomotives went off the tracks and a third one partially derailed. CNN News Source tells us firefighters responded to the derailment. The railroad says the 2 members of the train crew were able to get out on their own and were not hurt. The train was transporting more than 6,000 tons of freight, and a railroad spokesman said this is an opponent reminder of a risk of wintertime railroading in Alaska, and they are very thankful that the crew got out safely. And now allow me to take your attention to California. You see KGO TV at ABC7 in San Francisco says that Tuesday in California, the weather wasn't bad. It actually brought about clear skies across the Bay Area, but it doesn't mean that there are areas in the clear. It doesn't mean that area is in the clear, rather. KGO TV says there has been widespread damage even on dry days, impacting neighbors around the region. But little thought of are the local wildlife having their habitats turned upside down the past few weeks. KGO TV's reporter Amanda De Castillo has more.
Under rehabilitation after the recent string of rainstorms, this pocket gopher is being cared for at the Wildlife Center of Silicon Valley in San Jose, where it's getting the treatment and TLC needed to return to the wild.
After all that rainwater saturated the soil, his burrow collapsed and he was then flooded and came up, and he was found on top of the surface, completely soaking wet and just hypothermic.
Hospital manager Ashley Kinney says the storms knocked this American kestrel from the sky, causing an eye injury upon impact. WCSV sharing this slow motion video offering a better look at the bird's progress. And this nocturnal western screech owl was also brought in, battered by the bad weather.
She was found grounded, lethargic, completely waterlogged. So she was just sitting on the sidewalk, covered in rainwater.
Clear examples of the Bay Area's weather impacting wildlife. Kinney says those animals are expected to make a full recovery and to be released after the next storm. Residents we spoke with weren't surprised to hear about injuries.
I'm sure there's injured animals, probably up in the hills. Yeah, but it's nature.
Of course, nature surrounds the Wildlife Center. Penitencia Creek runs directly in front of it, bringing up fear of flooding. This has forced workers and volunteers to create an evacuation plan with patients in mind. Kinney says wildlife centers across the coast are seeing the biggest impacts because of the inclement weather.
There has been reports of an influx in other areas due to the storms, but in our general area, we're keeping our fingers crossed that everything remains the way it has been going. But if something changes, we are fully prepared for the worst.
Oh, poor little guys. I mean, of course, the weather is wild for us, but the people, well, not really people, but our little creatures outdoors have a hard time with the harsh weather as well, too. But as you can tell, I like to travel. So now I want to take you to somewhere else. We're going to take a quick little vacay in Hawaii. Fun fact about Hawaii, there are only 2 seasons, summer, and then that's from May to October, and then winter from November to April. Now, take a look at this video right here on your screen. This is from last Friday. This footage from CNN News Source is a video of Hawaii honoring the land and a quick shot of signing treaty with Timbisha Shoshone tribe. This is part of a special ceremony last Friday where leaders of the nation of Hawaii and the federally recognized Death Valley Timbisha Shoshone Band of California, known as the Timbisha Shoshone tribe, signed the agreement between the 2 nations. Native News Online says it is the first such treaty and says that the treaty marks the beginning of a promising relationship between the 2 nations and reaffirms their commitment to aloha, peace, mutual respect, and understanding, and fostering a just and prosperous world, according to a Nation of Hawaii press release. And now CNN News Source shares that NASA scientists have found new clues that could help predict when and where the sun's next flare might explode. Researchers identified small signals in the upper layers of the solar atmosphere called the corona that can help identify which regions on the sun are more likely to produce energetic bursts of light and particles. They found that above the regions about to flare, the corona produced small-scale flashes like small sparklers before the big fireworks. The research could eventually help improve predictions of space weather storms. Space weather can affect Earth in many ways, producing auroras, endangering astronauts, disrupting radio communications, and even causing large electrical blackouts. All right, I hope you guys enjoy these little stories and our trip across different places around the U.S. We're going to be right back after the break.
January is Bass Safety Month, and I'm on site to see how West Shore Home is providing homeowners with safe and accessible bathing solutions. Today, we're going to do 2 installations in just one day. So let's go upstairs and check it out. So you can see this tub is really hard to step in. That increases your chances of falling. So what we're going to do to fix that is install an easy low-step shower with beautiful sliding glass doors. But this isn't the only shower we're working on. We're going to go check out the next right now. So we're going to replace this tub with another tub, but what we really want to focus on is this up here, the drywall above the shower, because if moisture gets in there, mold can form, and that can be a huge problem. We're going to fix that by bringing the walls all the way up to the ceiling. That will eliminate any concern of mold growing. So it's time for me to get out of here so the installers can get to work. We'll check back in when the job is done. So the installers just wrapped up and this looks amazing. They took the walls all the way up to the ceiling and they were able to replace that old tub with something new and modern. But this isn't the only project they worked on today. Let's go check out the other bathroom. In just one day, the West Shore Home team was able to complete 2 installations. And the crazy part is we do this type of job every day. So if you're looking for a safer bathing solution, give us a call and you can get this great offer. Call in now because we're doing 18 months of no payments and no interest financing. That means you don't have to worry about paying anything on your project until well into 2024. Plus, we're taking 20% off all shower and bath projects. Call West Shore Home now.
All right, taking a look at our first alert forecast, and we have a chance for rain and storms tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning. You can see our Thursday outlook here. A lot of this is going to come in during the early morning while we're sleeping later on tonight. So before you head off to bed, make sure you have our weather app in alert mode ready to go in case we do have a rogue warning. If we did see a severe storm, greatest chance far northwest. Most of us, though, will be in good shape overnight, just based on what I'm seeing here. Very limited instability. This is 10 o'clock tonight between now and 10. You get the picture. Most of the wet weather, if we see anything, very isolated. Most areas will dodge the raindrops through 10 o'clock, but by midnight, here's that line moving in to far western areas. You can see moving into Marion County and pushing into Lamar County. Winds could gust over 30 miles per hour as this moves on to the east. This shows the line pushing through Tuscaloosa, 2 to 3 a.m., entering Jefferson County, pushing through Walker, through Coleman counties, and there's a look at St. Clair County by 4 a.m., Shelby, Chilton counties, and into Etowah County. Mostly a lot of rain, maybe a few rumbles and some gusty winds as this moves on to the east. There's 5 a.m. and you can see pushing in towards Anniston, pushing through Cherokee County and into Clay County. And by 8, 9 o'clock, this is out of here. Actually, tomorrow we will have some breaks during the day, some sunshine coming back, and the temperatures not too bad. Went with a high of 67 degrees, but the cooler air catches up tomorrow night. That low takes a tumble down to around 38 degrees there early on Friday. So a colder start. Notice the temperature trend as we look into the next several days. Normal high is around 54 degrees. We stay close to average. This is a good thing because even though we're talking several systems moving through, lack of instability, there's going to be a lower risk for any severe weather out of both of the systems that will roll in. We have another system that's going to move in on Saturday, so take advantage of the dry day Friday. Again, most of tomorrow will dry out, have some sunshine, but cooler, drier on Friday. We get through most of Saturday, it looks dry. Notice as the new data shows, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we get through most of the daytime hours dry with some clouds moving in. Here's that rain coming back, though, during the nighttime. And it looks like a cold, rainy setup overnight and into the morning hours on Sunday. We'll stop it right here. There is 9 a.m. and it looks like some showers. This will kind of taper off to maybe some drizzle or mist. This model in particular, this is the European model, some of the deterministic data. It's a little bit slower on the departure, shows us kind of dealing with some clouds left over, kind of cool, overcast, dreary, maybe some lingering drizzle, but not the best conditions there during the day, kind of dreary and damp there through most of the day, maybe even some showers into the afternoon. So this could be kind of a prolonged, light, cold, soaking, steady rain that sets up Saturday night and continues into Sunday. But there are some other outlooks, some other data sets that shows this moving out a bit sooner, so we'll watch Sunday closely, but I'd certainly plan for some rain during the morning hours. Looks like Monday dry, rain coming back Tuesday and into Wednesday of next week. We have another first alert for rain. Again, temperatures close to average, a cool, rainy setup, so no severe weather expected with that system, but a series of storm systems on the way. Here's another look at first alert AccuTrack, and again, just a lot of clouds, mostly some breaks. In fact, I checked our Centerville camera, and you could see the sunset this evening. It was beautiful out there, but that fog as we started the day really mixing out. In fact, we're going to have some of those weather app photos from earlier today. You can see back to the west, though, that line approaching. There is one severe thunderstorm warning. Right now, actually a fairly intense little storm there around Indianola. That's right along Highway 82. This is out in the Mississippi Delta. That's crossing Indianola, approaching Greenwood, Mississippi. This looks like it's mostly across interstate or about to cross Interstate 55 here. Actually, there is Interstate 55, so we're close there. So around Interstate 55, Greenwood, Mississippi, I've actually spotted storms. I saw a tornado one time in this very same area. I've got it on videos that crossed at night. You see the lightning flash, and it's very flat terrain out here, so you can see for quite a distance. And that storm in particular, it's not tornadic at this point, but probably going to get some gusty winds out of this, some intense lightning as that tracks off to the north and east direction. But that line expands back into Louisiana, and you can see along this entire line there's only one severe thunderstorm warning, and that's the kind of setup that this is going to be here. There's actually a tornado watch that's in effect back to the west. Is that a tornado warning that may have popped up there on that particular storm? Watching that one area. Again, that is well west of us. Notice the marginal risk for severe weather. Again, it's very limited to those areas to the northwest. This coding color shade that you see here represents just a chance for general thunderstorms across the area. So it's general storms, marginal severe risk, and that slight risk that we see back into parts of Mississippi. So there's the 7-day forecast. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of those impacts for the overnight. Check in on some of those weather app photos as we continue right here on First Alert Weather Extra.
Every storm has a story, where it came from, where it's going, and the lives impacted in between. Where our story begins is with your first alert, warning you well ahead of time so the chapter in between isn't filled with surprises. The largest team on your side, dedicated to telling the story that starts and ends with you. This is why we First Alert.
First alert, we are tracking
In times like this,
we now have a tornado warning that's active.
having a way to see and hear what's happening on your phone,
The most intense part of this storm right now is tracking towards Shelby County.
that means everything.
Okay, you need to get in your safe place now. Stay there. We will let you know when this warning expires. Stay with us.
Download the First Alert Weather app today. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team. Mornings, they're yours. Where you start fresh, get your body moving, and tackle a new day. Our mornings are for you. Janice, Mike, Mickey, and Toy, starting early and staying with you all morning long. With more voices speaking to you where you are, and getting to the point with more First Alert weather and traffic from the source you trust. Always on your side. This is Good Day, Alabama.
All right, welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. And Tania, a lot of weather app photos here. I was going through and refreshing some of the weather app photos from earlier today. Of course, the big story early on was the fog.
Yes.
Did you see it this morning?
I did.
Yeah.
It actually stayed around until about the early afternoon hours as well, too. Around 11 a.m., we could look here, especially up on the mountain.
Yeah.
Very foggy conditions. We had our IP camera out there showing that on our newscast earlier today as well, too.
Yeah,
so.
last night trying to leave. I mean, it was foggy by 9 o'clock last night. I mean, it was a rough night to be out on the roads. Now that mixed out tonight, this evening, out and about, looks like some improvements. But I was showing some of the pictures here. Yeah. Looks like one that we have from Clinton.
Yeah, this one's from Tommy Ann Williams, and I mean, we can see all the fog. It looks like right over the roads. Definitely if you were driving out and about, especially at nighttime, if it was the sun had set at that point, man, listen, it's hard to see. Visibility definitely a lot lower. And here's some more fog in Clinton as well too. They mentioned that it was already thick. This was sent in by Tommy Ann Williams as well too.
Yeah, you were talking about the date. That's 5 o'clock. So yesterday at 5 o'clock. So.
There was already fog in some areas as well. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had, I guess, a 12-hour plus period where we've had that kind of low visibility. Yeah.
And it carried throughout the night and into this morning, and we were talking about that on our early shows today as well too. Oh, look at that beautiful picture. Is that sunset? Yeah, that's sunset out at Lake Logan Martin. That was sent in by David Henderson.
Wow, and that's from Clinton as well.
Yeah, so, that's a beautiful
But you can see some of the fog there off the lake from yesterday. Wow.
Okay.
Already a sign of springtime out there. What do you think?
It's sprouting up. Either somebody put that there or it grew out the ground, but it looks like it's been there. That's crazy.
You see there's
other
more.
Little pieces,
You know, that's a sign of this pattern that we've been in.
The warm weather, warm, wet.
Warm and wet, exactly, and that's led to a lot of this active weather, Tania, and severe weather, and it's interesting. You look at a lot of this weather that's been impacting California, and a lot of that weather, it translates to the east. I never will forget, years ago, I visited AccuWeather in State College, Pennsylvania, and I was on a tour, and they had a worldwide forecast center, and they would forecast the weather. And this is back when I was studying meteorology. I just got into the business, and the meteorologist was talking about, he was forecasting for the West Coast. He says, I'm looking at weather in Japan right now.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of those patterns, you know, these circulation patterns, they circle the globe. And, and a lot of that weather in California translates over here. So a lot of folks are saying, you know, wondering, you know, every Thursday we've been dealing with the series of storms.
The same series of storms.
So you hear in the news these atmospheric rivers and these storms out on the West Coast. And a lot of that same energy has been influencing, well, this unusual weather that we've had.
That's pretty cool.
But I don't know if I'm ready to break out the lawnmower just yet.
Oh, yeah, I know. Listen, it's nice to not have to deal with all the yard work just yet. I know how much trouble that can be.
Yeah, I've got to give the old lawnmower tune-up first, you know.
You're not ready to mow the lawn.
On it last year.
I'm not ready for it to be hot yet. I like wearing my layers right now. I'm pretty comfortable. 70-degree weather, you can't go wrong. I mean, besides the storms, of course.
Hey, let's change it up for you. How about this one?
Ooh, snow. Look at that. This one was sent in from Nebraska. Oh, my gosh, North Platte, Nebraska. This is from Tristan Hawkersmith. Oh, that's cool. He's a truck driver, so he caught some snow out there.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Look at all that snow.
And it's coming down, too. Look at that. You can see it around the lights. Snow still coming down out there.
So you know what I'm going to do here, Tania?
Okay.
I think next time if we have winter weather, we need to get Tristan in here to talk a little bit about driving in the snow.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely have dealt with it. Yes, absolutely.
But there's another view. Well, we certainly thank Tristan and all they do out there to help you know, get these supplies across the country and brave these kind of elements.
In these conditions, absolutely.
So let's check out one more couple of views here. This is
Sue Wiley. Took this from her cell phone.
And there's
oh, nice backyard pool. Look. That's awesome. Nice sunset view as well, too. That was today. And that's from Lisa Payton from Silicaga.
You know, I think Lisa has sent us these photos because I remember the swimming pool. Oh. And, you know, you can't forget a swimming pool, right? Well, let's get to that 7-day forecast and keep those photos coming in. I mean, we love seeing those, and we certainly appreciate that. You sending those, sharing those with us. I know tonight it's going to be kind of unsettled out there. We're going to have that chance for rain and storms coming in. Looks like during the early morning hours. And Tania, you can jump in here. I know we were talking about this weekend. Looks like Saturday night when you're here, we're going to be tracking that cold rain Saturday night and into Sunday, and then watching next week as well.
Yes, and it looks like our next chance for rain at the start of your next week really won't be until Tuesday. We get that slight break Monday, so if you have plans next week, especially outdoors, Monday looks like your next best chance, especially do some yard work, some cleaning up. Yeah.
The one thing to watch that I like to see, these normal highs versus normal lows. We don't see, you start seeing those 70s.
Yeah, right there around
Yeah.
the normal range by next week.
Yeah, that's 70 I start thinking storms, so
yeah,
we have
me
to
too.
watch out.
Start stirring some stuff up.
So we will see you tomorrow, right?
Yes.
On the news at 11 and noon. So check in with Tania tomorrow. I'll be back tonight with updates on this threat for storms. That's coming up at 9, 9:30, and 10. We'll probably have some more wet weather to track on radar tonight. So thank you for tuning in. First Alert Weather